great about sports. This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game.
Winning isn't everything, but it's the only thing. In our business, there is no second place. Either you're first or you're last.
Ain't this what they've been waiting for? You ready?
And now, the W with Walls and the Crew.
Good morning.
Where winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. On 100.1 FM.
Good morning.
And Facebook Live.
Good morning. Right back like we never left. Another Saturday morning with the W Show, Kansas City, talking sports and pop culture. If this is your first time checking us out, we greatly appreciate it. Thank you for making us a part of your Saturday morning. This is the W Show on 100.1 FM. And it's an exciting week. How was you guys' week?
Good, man.
Good.
Yeah,
was it long?
It was long, man. Grinding it out. I had a couple of gigs early in the week. So it's like it's ending kind of smooth, but it's a couple of days. So,
Jazz?
Super hectic, but it was good.
Yeah.
Hurricane, hit close to home with some of my friends and family, so that was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Worrisome, but other than that, I'm glad everybody's okay.
Yeah, how are they doing?
They're doing good. Luckily, my best friend relocated to Fort Lauderdale a couple months ago, so they were able to get out of there and of course, they were still affected a little bit in Fort Lauderdale, but it was more of just the storm surges. So back home in Fort Myers, they're hoping to get back into the house today, actually, and make sure everything's okay. But definitely prayers going out to everybody in Fort Myers and family and friends there.
And it's a major change in scenery down there, too. I saw I know we text back and forth with some of the pictures. The beach is no more.
Destroyed.
Yeah.
Destroyed. I'm sure it won't ever quite be the same, which is crazy. Just seeing so many places. I know back when Katrina happened, it was I didn't have anything to really relate to, or people there, or I had never been in that area, so you don't really feel it as much. Yeah. But when it happens to places that you've been there and kicked it at for a long period of time, it's crazy. It really hits home.
That was Katrina for me. So
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought that it was going to, affect, and we'll talk about the Chiefs game later, but I thought that it was going to affect, and that was the word, hey, the game is either going to be moving to New Orleans or to Minnesota. I was hoping more Minnesota, but, it went more south, which is the area that you're talking about. So, yeah, prayers to all those folks down there, and hopefully they're able to, recover in a timely manner.
Definitely.
We have a lot to get into today on the show. Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes, he's explaining why what happens between he and special teams offensive coordinator. I said special teams offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy. He's explaining why they had a little argument at the end of the first half or last week. So we'll talk about that. We'll hear from Patrick Mahomes and also Eric Bieniemy. And the NFL is they're replacing the Pro Bowl with what's called Pro Bowl games, featuring a week-long skills competition and flag football game. We'll see how that goes. All right, and Rihanna, she's performing at the Super Bowl halftime. I'm excited about that one.
I love the promo for that one too.
Yeah. She's gonna be performing. Shout out to Jay-Z. We will dive into that a little bit later. And the NFLPA issues a statement in the aftermath of Tua Tagovailoa, his frightening injury versus the Bengals. We'll talk about that later as well. And coming up in about 30 minutes, we will have our sneakers of the week during our Hater Love It segment. Let's get to today's headlines.
And now, here are the biggest sports headlines from this week. We bring them to you every Saturday morning on the W with Walls and the Crew on 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Earlier this week, Chiefs QB Patrick Mahomes explained what happened in a heated moment with Eric Bieniemy. First, let's see what happened and then hear from Patrick Mahomes.
So you could have thrown a Hail Mary, right?
That's what I thought.
The only reason you would do that is because I've always wondered, Quarterback could get hurt. Look at, he's upset right here. Mahomes is like, I don't want to run the ball and finish the half. He's like, well, stop. We're playing good. It's tough. They got a good D-line. I know, but just.
I mean, we talk every day anyways. So, I mean, that's something we don't even really worry about, and we just continue on and move forward. I have a lot of trust in Coach Bieniemy. He's done a lot of great things for this organization and for this team, and he'll continue to push us forward to be even better.
Yeah, and we'll hear from Coach Eric Bieniemy here in just a minute. But I think to me, it's blown out of a proportion. You know, I think with the microscope on both those guys, more on Patrick Mahomes because you know he's the face of the NFL. He's the face of the Chiefs franchise, and then with Eric Bieniemy, he is the face of black coaches in the league. One of the faces of black coaches in the league, and especially with all the talk about Eric Bieniemy wanting to get a head coaching job, wanting to step out of the shadow of the Chiefs, of Andy Reid. Does he call the plays? Does he not call the plays? He's been called a tough coach. You have players that are in the league, or that former players in the league, that are saying, hey, no one likes Eric Bieniemy because he talks crazy to people in so many words, things like that. So I think EB is kind of being categorized as a tough coach. And I don't like it because you get those coaches who want to coach players. Like, they're not going to shy away from, if you're a $1 billion quarterback, if you are the low man on the totem pole, he's going to coach everyone equally. Now, don't get me wrong. You know your players, right? You know who you need to push and who can take it and then who can't. So, I mean, there's a fine line there. But as far as coaching, you're not going to get anything less than a coach, than high value coaching from Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah, and I think he's one of those coaches that, and I mean that I think we grew up around those coaches that are very straightforward. They're not going to handle you with kid gloves.
Oh, yeah, of course, of course.
They don't hold back anything, and yeah, I think it's blown out of proportion. Because again, this happens on every sideline. Almost, I wouldn't say every day, but you would think from game to game this happens. If it's not with the quarterback and the offensive coordinator, maybe it's an O lineman, maybe it's a D lineman. And then in the NFL now, we have it where a lot of teams are very weak in their secondary. So you probably have this with secondary coaches, just the whole nine. And it's just a microscope shown on this. But yeah, Eric Bieniemy is probably one of those coaches that talks to grown men in a certain manner.
Yeah.
And for me, I feel like you can appreciate or respect that more, like a coach that shoots you straight and is telling you like exactly what you need to work on, how it's supposed to be, versus like you wouldn't want a coach that's soft or like you're not going to
football
respect
too.
Yeah, and especially with like that type of stature, a Patrick Mahomes stage, like you need somebody that could check you sometimes, and it might look different in different lights. And of course, like when the cameras are all on you, tensions are high. It looks like you're yelling back and forth, but really, like in a situation like that, I feel like you kind of have to put yourself in those shoes. And like when you have two different personalities, two different opinions on it, it's like it's not necessarily that we're arguing, but we both want to take two different routes.
And EB is a guy that demands respect too.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to disrespect him. I think he's just cut from a different cloth.
Yeah. And he played the game at a high level.
He did. So he knows, what the league is about. Now, don't get me wrong. Now, you got Patrick Mahomes, right, who's the face of the franchise, $1 billion dude. Will they stick with Patrick or will they stick with EB? So, I mean, you got to kind of tote that line because in the back of your mind, I'm replaceable, right? And so, but I think that shouldn't, and I'm not speaking for EB, but I'm pretty sure that he's like, I don't care about any of that. I'm going to coach because at the end of the day, it's about what? It's about wins. So, I think Patrick Mahomes has to respect it. But at the end of the day, would Patrick go at Andy like he did EB? Would he question the play call from Andy?
Yeah, and I don't think Andy is as passionate. I think Andy is probably going to be a little more because historically, Andy is a pass first coach. Like, it's normally 60-30,
Yeah.
you know, I mean 60-40, 70-30, like split with him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he's always going to be on that side of the quarterback versus Eric Bieniemy was a running back. He sees the game a lot different, especially from the position that he played.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's some nuance in there added to Eric Bieniemy being a black coach. I think there's something in there with that. But yeah, I've never seen Andy's personality to be that. Now, if it was more of a Bill Belichick, I could see that. But I think we see a different Bill Belichick than his players see.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. For sure. And I want to hear from Eric Bieniemy because he, you know, to me, I think right now he's kind of sugarcoating, kind of glossing over it a little bit.
Yeah.
Being PC, but let's hear from EB.
Here's the thing. So obviously we have a protocol. We're talking through the headsets. Here's what I love about Pat. Pat is a competitor. You guys have heard what I've said in the past about him. You want them that way. That's how you want them. You want to finish every drive in the end zone with a score. At that particular time, as a staff, we decided, you know what? We're getting the ball, to start the second half off. So we just want to take a knee. So obviously, Pat being the competitor that he is, he wasn't ready to hear that. But at that particular time, I was just trying to calm the storm. Y'all know how I am. You guys have seen me erupt. So if it would have been a true eruption, I think you guys would have recognized that. But after that, that was it. No, I think you coach the individuals different because everybody's different. Everybody can't handle certain things, or everybody's built differently. So you just want to make sure that you know exactly which buttons that you can push with certain people. And so that's the beauty about being a coach, is making sure that you know the environment of everybody that there is on your team. And we spend a lot of intimate time together. So, and I encourage all our coaches to make sure that we know the people, because if you know the people, okay, you can get great production out of the players. Yes, you can coach players hard, okay? And certain players deserve to be coached hard. But one thing that you got to understand is different situations and how you handle and how you react. So as far as coaching, we're coaches. Our job is to make sure that our players are doing exactly what we want them to do, all right? On top of that, we've been doing this for a long time. So if there's an issue, we can have that discussion at the appropriate time. So, and then when it's all said and done with too, I think that's getting left out of this conversation. The head man has 51% of the vote. So whenever the head man say, hey, this is what we're going to do, then that's what we're going to do.
I agree. I mean, if there's something wrong with and the question was too, is Eric Bieniemy, is he calling the plays? Because Andy Reid is this offensive genius, offensive mastermind. Is he calling the plays? And if that doesn't show you that Eric Bieniemy is calling the play, I don't know what is. Pat didn't go over to Andy Reid. He went over to Eric Bieniemy.
True.
Yeah.
He went directly to the source and said, and I don't read lips, but I can summarize basically what they said. Pat went over and said, hey, why did we run the ball? I wanted to throw. We still had time left. You know how I can get the ball down there. Why did you call it run play? Well, Patrick, we ahead. We good. We going into halftime. We good. I didn't want anything to happen.
Yeah.
Things can happen, turn bad for us. We're good. Go on, man. Go back, go to the locker room. Andy steps in, and that was the end of it.
No, definitely. Because even in high school, like just calling plays and getting them from the coach. Like I had some sort of like liberty. But even again, like if I did something crazy, like soon as I get to the sideline, coach is already at my neck.
Yeah.
And that happens in a competitive sport. Like you're not always going to be on the same page. And I think people that have played the sport and you understand the type of like competitive fire and passion that you have to have, not only for football, but also for basketball and also for soccer. Like there's just certain level of competition that just bring that fire out of some people because it doesn't bring it out of everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then we were watching Ronnie Bell score a touchdown. So that was like cool.
Yeah. But yeah, I and thanks for watching Airhead Chief podcast. He said I thought Eric Bieniemy handled the situation good and kept his cool. I mean, I did too. Because he said you see me erupt. I mean, I've seen EB on the practice field like going ham.
Yeah.
So I mean, he could have and at that point, all cameras on you. It sucks that it can't be like a personal or nothing out there is personal, but like it can't be a locker room type conversation, and that the magnifying glass is there. But yeah, EB, because Patrick he shouldn't have went over to his quarterback. I think Patrick was wrong in that instance.
Yeah, but I mean, he's had some other criticisms this week.
Yeah, of course,
that came out. So.
Of course.
Now the Chiefs will head to Tampa Bay today to take on the Buccaneers tomorrow on Sunday Night Football. How are you guys seeing this playing out?
You know what? I think, and like I said earlier, I thought the game initially was going to be moved to a dome. It's going to be outside, sunny. I still think, Patrick Mahomes has a vendetta against Tom Brady. And so the last time they played, of course, was Super Bowl 55 in Tampa.
And
how
do you think he feels going?
And this is the first time they played since.
Yeah.
The record right now between Tom and Pat is 3-2. Of course, Tom has the edge. Last win again in the Super Bowl, they were 2-2 before then. But yeah, I think he wants to even the score, and I believe that this will probably be the last time that Patrick Mahomes will be able to face Tom Brady. So you want to be able to even it out 3-3. At least, unless they, for whatever instance, they are able to meet in the Super Bowl. But the likelihood of that happening, But yeah, you want to go out there. They still remember what happened in the Super Bowl. We remember. We were there.
Vividly.
So
I definitely
there might be a little bit of some different cast members, but you still have Patrick, you still have Kelsey, you still have McCole Hardman. Coaches, you still have Frank, you still have Chris Jones. All those guys remember. That should be the motto for this week. We remember. So I think they're going to go down there and they're going to explain to these young guys and some of the new guys, hey, this ain't what y'all thought. We going in on this one. So I think this is going to be a good game.
And I think this game was probably circled as well.
It's the reason why it's Sunday Night Football too.
Yeah, the game was circled, and then you saw a little bit of that the attention on this game last week. Like I think they were looking over last week. So yeah, I think Pat has points to prove. That Super Bowl, they talked about the goat and baby goat thing.
Yeah.
We remember all of the all of everything. And then Steve was so sad about 5 minutes left in the first quarter, and the sadness never stopped.
I wasn't sad.
Because he didn't talk much. Jazz can tell you that. But now
it was a quiet car ride.
but now I think Sunday is a game that both teams definitely have like a little bit more fire behind them, not even just for prime time, but I think prime time adds to that as well. So
yeah.
Facts. Now the NFL replaces Pro Bowl with the Pro Bowl games featuring week-long skills competitions and a flag football game. Steve?
Look, the Pro Bowl has been going downhill. The NFL, Roger Goodell, they've all, for the past, I think 5 or 6 years, probably even longer, they've wanted to do something different. They wanted to, figure out what they can do to draw in more fans. They moved the game from Hawaii to, I think it was Orlando at first. They felt like Disney World, Magic Kingdom, the city of Orlando was going to be able to draw in fans. It did the first year, but after that, it's like, all right, been there, done that. Now let's do something different. They stayed there a few years, then moved on. Now they're in Las Vegas. Felt like, oh, well, it's Vegas. We'll be able to bring out the partiers. Because Pro Bowls is just a big party anyway, So I think now they're trying to figure out, okay, well, how can we make this thing different? A flag football game, to me, I think it's pretty dope. Will guys play hard? I don't know. I think they need to get a big sponsor behind it. Each person to win, a few $100,000, and kind of go for that through it that way.
I like this direction for the players.
Okay.
Especially for the players. And then, I mean, we're going to talk about it, but I mean, Tua's whole thing is that casts a shadow over this as well. But how do you make it interesting? How do you make a game so intense more interesting for an exhibition game that, again, is just a party?
and last year felt like a flag football game anyways.
That's exactly
basically without the flags.
That's
so
exactly
it's like,
what it
how
felt
do you
like.
make somebody try hard when it means, I mean, yeah, if you put an incentive in for money, but it's like, okay, why would I intentionally want to get hit hard when I don't have to be?
And I think you gotta do some crazy like things, like from the uniform standpoint. You got to make that cool, like some cool shorts, something people would like to buy and wear. You know, to it just, you got to make it dope. You have to
somehow.
Yeah, you got to be creative and make things, because you remember when MTV used to do like the Rock and Jock softball or baseball, whatever it was.
They did Rock and Jock for basketball.
Yeah.
And they also did it for softball.
So you can do things like that to have these players do things that you would never see them do.
You could, but how
like offensive lineman being a quarterback?
But
like, come on.
But also, how creative and progressive is the NFL? Because I mean, if it's a Madden rating, it's a 0 for them.
I think they're getting there. I don't think they're in the sports world. I would say if I had to rank, I would say NBA, then NFL, then kind of filters through there. But
I mean, I don't know, because the MLB still has an all-star game with a home run competition.
Yeah.
The NFL doesn't have a home run competition or a dunk contest.
Which I think they need to do that with quarterbacks.
I think that would be the big thing, definitely.
So that
outside of the game. That's why I'm excited for the skills part of it. Because it's like, okay, I would rather see like, how can you hit this target? Who hits this target the most times? Do linebackers or something like that to make it funny, where you know that they might not even hit it. You know?
Yeah, no, and there's different ways that players can showcase their high level of talent. Like, because a lot of these guys are definitely talented, whether it's strength, speed, or whatever you have. Somebody has to figure it out, because again, home runs excite people in baseball. Dunks used to excite people in basketball.
They're trying to figure that out.
Like
too.
it's a shooter's game now.
Yep.
So again, they have to kind of like transition, but the dunk contest still gets talked about. Like, it's not
about how terrible it is.
I mean, how terrible it is, but we also get new stars from it. Like we always get some, except for last year. Last year was kind of a dud. But in football, like what excites people? Hard hits.
True.
So how do you, and that's I think that's the issue that the NFL has. But it also goes back to my point, Steve, and I think I made this point about 4 years ago, that the NFL will be dying out in about 15 years, and we're seeing the early stages of that. Like, we're seeing the game just dying because it's a sport that can't. I won't say that it can't, but they refuse to allow it to evolve.
Yeah.
And I think they stick so much to tradition that it really hinders them, because I mean, the league, how long has it been? 75 years or something like that. Like, so it's been time for the game to evolve.
Yeah, it'll be back in Vegas again this year. And so, you got to figure out some other things to do within that week to make it cool.
Yeah, and it'll be tough. And how far is that drive from Phoenix?
4.5 hours. All right, look.
I think they should do the throwing like we did at the last Super Bowl.
Yeah, moving targets. You got to have. I think you got to line Josh Allen up, line Patrick Mahomes up, line. You
since I did good at the last Super Bowl. Yep.
But just see how far they can throw it. How far you think you can throw a football?
Me?
Yeah, you. Yeah. Line you up.
What was the last target? It was like a good 40 yards, wasn't it?
I don't remember. I remember my 60-yarder.
Okay.
See how he gonna remember not yours.
No, I
think I could go 60.
No, I remember mine, and I mean we're not going to talk
hit
about
a target. 60 and hit a target, Jazz.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have confidence.
And then we're not going to talk about the jump shot from the other day, cold off the bench. So,
Kobe.
But let's move on.
Another star, Rihanna, to perform at Super Bowl halftime. Love it.
Yeah,
Love it.
and this is a question for me because being a music fan, you'd think that she'd drop an album before that, but then I think it was the same speculation for Beyonce, and she didn't exactly drop an album right then. Like she did some old hits, but it's like, yeah, for a music fan, this excites you because it's like, what is Rihanna gonna do?
Right.
And especially her kind of being in that shadow of Beyonce, like we haven't seen her in a while. She had a baby, like she got married. Well, she didn't get married.
She ain't got married.
Yeah,
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. Okay.
Steve knows.
Okay, yeah. But now, there's a lot of things in life that had changed for her, and so she's more mature. So you wonder how this approach is gonna be because. I mean, if I'm predicting, I think she's gonna drop an album, probably pretty close to the Super Bowl, if not that weekend.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm excited to see what happens because if this isn't an album announcement, it's something because she has a lot. And
when's the last time she had an album?
What was it? Anti, and that was 2014, I think.
Woo!
Yeah, 2014
and
or
all
15.
them songs still bang.
Yeah. So and that's a long time. But then in between time, she's had the Fenty line. She's had a lot going on. So
she's a billionaire.
You could, she's her valuation is I think over $1 billion. So but I mean that's Rock Nation and all of that with the league.
And shout out to Jay-Z too, because like when he took over, the entertainment portion of NFL and Super Bowl and all that, people were like, oh well, why are you doing this? What are you gonna do for the league? Like, what are you gonna do? We coming off of the Colin Kaepernick, situation and all of that. It's like, okay, what are you gonna do? Or are you just gonna be just the poster child of black in the league? And slowly he's kind of stepped it up, and now he's been able to put the Dr. Dre and Kendrick Lamar last year. We saw like 50 Cent. We would have never have seen that it had the NFL still been doing it.
Yeah, no, because if the NFL was still doing it, we'd have the Red Hot Chili Peppers or something. And then it's like, what? Like who in the fan base like listens to it? So it's I think for Jay-Z, he's in a role where he has a company that can make smart decisions here. But again, the NFL, I mean, it's just entertainment to them. I mean, nobody's really paying attention to especially at the game. Nobody's really watching that. But LA was a lot different when Dr. Dre was on. So it was
crazy.
It was different to see that versus the weekend the previous year. Because I think the weekend was more confusion.
And I think, and I think that was kind of a miss. They tried to throw a dart, and it was just a complete miss.
Well, I mean, the weekend told us at the beginning, like when he was lost in the hallway, like, look, y'all are going to be lost for this whole thing. So just come get lost with me. And that's like the genius behind it. So again, I'm looking to see what Rihanna does and how she puts her show together, because I think her production is really going to be different. And I think you'll see, we may see an ode to Janet. Like it might be a lot of like she might poke the bear a little bit. And
I think because that's Rihanna though. Like, with even with the island culture, you're gonna get a little, and you're gonna tiptoe that line a little bit.
And I brought up Fenty because I mean, for the male perspective of this, you would think that there's gonna be like a mini lingerie fashion show. So it's like, women and men could both appreciate it from different levels. So it's a lot that she could do within this show with a lot of her brands. So I'm interested to see.
Me too. I am too.
And I feel like last year it was hard to top. Like looking forward to this year, I'm like, how do you top last year in LA?
Rihanna is how you top it.
Right.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, you really did that. You
Yeah.
got to. So I'm really looking forward to it for sure. But the NFLPA issues statement in aftermath of Tua's frightening injury versus the Bengals. Steve?
Yeah, and that statement was player health and safety is at the core of this union's mission. Our concern tonight is for Tua, and we hope for a full speedy recovery. Our investigation into the potential protocol violation is ongoing. With this being said, just watching what happened with Tua the Sunday night, or I'm sorry, on Sunday against the Bills, and then what was that? 4 days later,
Yes,
5 days later against Thursday against the Bengals. On Sunday after, and I didn't get to watch the game live, but just watching, all of the replays from SportsCenter and all the different sports shows, that was not, and the Dolphins classified it as a back injury and as an ankle injury. That was not either one of those. A blind man can see that Tua was stumbling from a head injury. Like Q, you've had back issues. I know I've had my share of back issues. If my back is hurting, I'm not going to get up and walk. Yeah. I'm going to lay there for a minute like, man, my back. Or if my ankle is hurting, I'm not going to try to get up and walk. I'm going to tie my shoe tight and then figure it out from there. This was a head injury. Like, and let's see it, because I don't want to talk about it. Let's see it. Let's see it.
Are in trouble 0-2. Tua Tagovailoa throwing off his back foot with the rush in his face there. Jalen Waddle makes the catch. Penalty flag comes in, and Tua Tagovailoa was roughed at the end of the release. The pass rusher came on top of him there, and Tagovailoa suffered some type of an injury on this play. We have Teddy Bridgewater in the game right now. Tagovailoa, oh boy, getting up. Oh my goodness, that's an awful.
His ability to make adjustments at halftime. Tua rolling left with the grain, and down he goes. Slung down in his own 48-yard line. Josh Tupu. And well, we saw last week, and he went down, he got up, was wobbly. The training staff comes out. And, of course, the last thing the Dolphins wanted to see. I mean, last week it looked for all the world. Everybody thought head injury, concussion, past the protocol.
If you see, like, if our first video was a Sunday and then the other one was Thursday, the first one, you saw him hit his head. He got up even with the head shake of, man, I'm out of it. Like, that wasn't a back injury. That wasn't a foot injury. You're shaking your head like, come on, get it together. I've done it before. I'm sure you guys have done it. Like, what's wrong with me?
Yeah. Patrick Mahomes has done it before in a playoff game and played the next week.
Yeah.
So it's a problem in the NFL.
But Patch wasn't like that. Like, that was him getting up and
because he got up and was wobbly and did it on his own.
Yeah.
When Pat got up, he had already had 4 players right there holding him up.
Right.
And then they all circled around him like he was a dead body and like walked him off the field. And he got taken out of the game and stayed out of the game. And I think that's what helped him as well. Like, Tua he kept playing, dinged on it.
And it wasn't 7 days. That was Sunday to Thursday.
But for a concussion,
you
need at minimum 10 days.
Yeah.
Like, you need at minimum 10 days. And I remember being told that, because the first time I had a concussion and blacked out, I realized I'd had concussions previous to that and kept playing. So you ding your head that many times, and then it's that one time it takes to just completely black out. So yes, I remember being in that mind frame. And then as soon as I went to the doctor, he told me, don't drive, don't do it. Like, you need to like rest your brain for 10 days at least.
Yeah. And when you see what happened with his hands, like, when I think of that, I think of boxer, right? Like, when boxers go down and they're just like, oh man, we remember Nate Robinson?
Yeah.
He went down and he was just like froze, right? For a split second, got up. And even when you think about just bringing up the boxers, after they have a fight, how long do they have off? 6 months, at least. 6 months, unless, there's some special circumstances where guys are able to fight sooner, but it's at least a few months off.
But that
So
damage,
I think
that damage from your brain doesn't go away.
Oh, of course not. Of course not. And I think to me, he's done for the season. If it was,
he's not done for the season.
I think he should be.
Yeah.
He's going to be out 2 weeks.
Yeah.
He'll be back.
I know the competitor in him, which is the reason why, to me, his mind was, okay, concussion on Sunday. I'm back in. I talked my way out of it. They asked me my name, where am I at, all that good concussion protocol stuff. I'm back in. I'm good. I get through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. All right, I'm feeling all right, good enough to play. And then Thursday, it's like there's no way I'm sitting out. We're 3-0. We've gone on and beat the Bills. We beat the Patriots. We come back against the Baltimore Ravens. We're number 1 in the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't been here before. I'm Tua. Like, I'm not supposed to be here. All the talk at the beginning of the season, we got Tyreek Hill. I can't throw the ball down the field. Now we're 3-0. Oh, I'm playing on Thursday. I'm about to go out here and beat Joe Burrow, concussion or not. But then reality set in, and oh man, I shouldn't have played.
No, it happens. And that's the nature of the game. Like we saw how CTE came back, and the revelations of that led to a whole Will Smith movie. Like there was a lot in that. Like the NFL don't care. And if we
why you whispering?
No, I'm not. I had to say that like in an even tone, because we're gonna act like we're surprised that we've gotten to this point. Like, the NFL has not shown any level of humanity towards its players or anything. Like,
but is that an NFL call, or is that a
NFL call?
Of Miami Dolphins call?
No, that's
NFL
an
call.
NFL call.
Because I feel like any competitor, any coach is in the same mindset. So it's like, yeah, man, your head feels okay, right? Because we got a game. So it's like you have to go beyond that and be like, no, I don't care what the situation is. This is like health before anything.
Look, word to Brian Flores, because he tried to tell everyone.
But that's just not I can't say well, he said it about the Miami Dolphins, but we see it every week with other teams.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, people ring the alarm all the time.
Okay.
But the machine is just too big.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
Like, the machine is too big. Like, the machine doesn't want to talk about Brett Favre.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to talk about concussions. Like, they don't want to talk about Chad Wheeler. But the machine definitely wants to talk about Udoka. They want to talk about text messages, and they want to talk about So that, but
Patrick Mahomes, Eric Bieniemy.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, they know the media cycle. They know it's going to cycle out. Like, give it 2 weeks. Tua will be back in. He'll be back winning, throwing 450 yards, 5 touchdowns a game. Like, and all will be forgotten.
Sick.
But it's going to take for a major athlete to have to stand up and stand out. Like,
but who's going to do that?
Right now it could be Tua. I mean, if he comes out and says, I'm done playing forever.
Tua ain't made enough money yet.
He's made $25 million.
Okay, how much of that you think he still got?
20, at least 20.
Probably 10 to 12.
That's enough to be able to.
What you mean that's enough?
That's enough.
What you mean that's enough?
More than I got.
Hold up. If you're a quarterback and you're looking at Tom Brady, probably the most wealthiest quarterback in the league right now. Well, aside from Chase Daniel, because Chase Daniel has robbed the bag for a really long time. But yes, if you're looking at that, no, 10 million, 25 million is not enough. No, that's not enough. And again,
but your health is what is going to stop you from being able to lace him up another week in the NFL.
How many players are in the NFL right now?
Man, look, the way his fingers was like this.
Yeah.
I don't
how many players did that stop from playing this week outside of Tua? 0.
How many play? To be honest, I've never seen that before. Other than like in boxing in the NFL, I've never seen a guy that was out and like just. I mean, we've seen it where guys are like this, but not with his hands.
But we've also seen guys blow their whole knee out of their shit. Like yes, it's a brutal sport.
Yeah,
and this is what happens. It's a gladiator sport, and it makes money. And people love the brutality. Like, people are watching a serial killer documentary.
I am guilty.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yes.
Yeah. But the thing about it is, this when your family has to step in and save you from yourself.
Facts.
They have to save you.
Ain't nobody gonna do that.
Why not? Why not? This is when your parents step in, whatever. They step friends. Like, hey man, we saw what happened. We want you to be able to be here for us.
This league is 75 years old, and there's very few players that have done that. And we know one, Kobe.
Yeah.
Like Kobe cracked his kneecap.
Mm-hmm.
Came back from that injury, didn't feel right, retired the next season. And there's not many players that do that.
And was it that retired early and we were all like, wow.
Yeah, it was a lot. And so he went and got his bag.
Yeah,
but then I'm sure he had a plan to take that bag and go put it into something else that also was lucrative. So yeah, there are players like that. But again, how many players are trying to get in the league? How many players are in the league? Like,
True.
It's countless.
True.
Like nobody's worried about it until it happens to them.
Until a doctor says, so you think if a doctor tells Tua, all right, we advise you not to play again.
And what kind of competitor do you think he is?
Tua?
Yes.
I think he's an ultimate competitor, but at that point, you gotta look at what's most important.
At that point, because it's like Jeezy said, I'll sleep when I die. And there are people like that. The Mamba mentality, whatever you want to call it. Like,
but there's been a lot of players also that careers have been cut short before they've wanted it to. In no matter what sport you look at.
I mean, that don't stop nobody else.
All right.
No, we're going to take a quick break. Coming up, we'll discuss Draymond says the people who don't think the Warriors can win another championship should probably shut up. Keep it locked in. This is a W show. We'll be right back.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Come spin with us, Kansas City. KC We Spin 360 is the coolest 360 video spinner experience for events. KC We Spin 360 is taking it to the next level. The 360 video spinner platform rental will be the life of the party. Everyone will be talking about their 360 video experience while bragging about it on their social media pages. The captivating slow motion and reverse effects will have your guests feeling like celebrities. The KC We Spin 360 video spinner can capture slow-mo videos, GIFs, and boomerangs from every angle. Specializing in corporate events, weddings, social gatherings, bar bat mitzvahs, school events, and fundraisers, KC We Spin 360 can be found online at KCWeSpin360.com. Come spin with us, Kansas City.
Don't be depressed, frustrated, or stressed because of the loss of a loved one. Golden Gate Funeral and Cremation Services is here to assist you with a smooth, stress-free transition. It doesn't matter how your loved one transitioned, we will offer you a memorable celebration to your liking. We are a family-friendly, full-service funeral home right here in the heart of the city, offering affordable cremations and package pricing and quality service. Call us when you need us. 816-231-GATE. That's 816-231-4283. There's only one Golden Gate, located at 2800 East 18th Street, Kansas City, Missouri. Exchanging your grief for a golden experience.
Are you ready to take your gaming experience to the next level? Max Adrenaline Mobile Video Gaming is here to offer the best mobile entertainment that includes video games, laser tag, and karaoke. Our mobile video game theater offers a 33-foot climate-controlled luxury RV with 5 gaming stations, and we can accommodate up to 20 players at once. Are you looking for entertainment at your next event? Well, look no further. We'll come to you. Specializing in birthday parties for all ages, sports events, team building, corporate events, school functions, holiday parties, and more. We're here when you need us at 816-897-0509 or maxadrenalinekc.com.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Remember to interact with our show. Use hashtag talk about it. Message us and we'll talk about whatever topic you want. Now, Draymond says the people who don't think the Warriors can win another championship should probably shut up. Let's hear from Draymond.
You guys, mainly the veterans last year, justly really enjoyed reminding people, hey, we won a fourth here and proving a lot of people wrong. Is that specific chip on the shoulder still there and moving to a fifth championship, or does that have to morph a little bit now?
I don't think it's the same chip. I'd be lying to you if I told you it was, but there are chips. There are chips. And there's no shortage of chips. I can tell you that. So, it may not be quite, oh, man, people don't think we can do it again, as like that opinion is like as far from relevant as it can possibly be. So whoever has that opinion should probably just shut up because it's just not a bright one. However, there are chips. They're good ones. So there's no shortage.
Yeah, there are chips. So I guess they still have some chips on their shoulders. But that goes to like what people will say about after you win a championship, after you've done a lot. Let's say LeBron. I watched him talk in the barbershop, show that he does. And where we're talking about how do you still get up to play? You've done a lot. You've, arguably one of the best players ever to do it. How do you still go out there and continue to have that competitive spirit? And he says, sometimes I just got to find that guy up in the rafters that's saying with the F you LeBron sign and say, oh, yeah, that's you. All right, now I got it. I'm here. And I'm looking at him every single time I'm running up and down the floor. And just like Draymond said, they're going to find different chips. Chip have to have chips on their shoulder, to be able to get up and know that we've won 4, we've won for 5, and this is the reason why.
Yeah, no, and I forget the hip hop laureate that famously said that my haters are my greatest motivators. But yes, that's the sentiment for Draymond. That's the sentiment for competitors, especially when you have to do your thing day in and day out, night in and night out. And people telling you that you can't. Like, remember the story that Caesar would have somebody walk behind them and tell him all the bad things in his ear because everyone else was praising him. Like, yeah, you need that balance, and you need people to forget. But then, as Roy Jones Jr. said, like, y'all must have forgot
exactly
because when they're lifting that trophy again, and the 3 of them are healthy. And y'all think they too?
I can't give you that, but yeah, they got chips.
All right,
they got chips.
Because look, you get to a barbecue too early and the meat hadn't come off the grill. Like, what you got to eat? Well, there are chips, and they got a lot of chips in their bag. So, look, I tell you one thing: they shots go in. And Draymond,
one of their shots go in.
No,
only one on that team right now can shoot it.
Because Draymond will have his flashes. When he wants to, when the team when the team is running and you start seeing Draymond hit that little awkward top of the key shot, like, I'm
gonna get us some cutouts, the mean face cutouts, and I'm just going, get the man face.
Look, you could meh all you want, but remember that little rookie combine, and he was sitting there telling people like, y'all ain't even hustling, and you can't even beat Fred VanVleet. Like, so like there's a different mentality it takes to win, and Draymond definitely has it.
Now, University of Memphis basketball faces fine, probation, but no ban.
Knew this was coming, but it's across the board. When you think about just what they did compared to like what KU did over a course of number of years, right? Like, this is that we know of 1 year, Penny Hardaway, what he did as a head coach, going after his player, possibly paying his player. The fines, basically a slap on the wrist, don't do it again. That's it. And I think that's fair. What it all amounts to.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't need to see all of these like probations and all that. No.
Thanks. Rory calls for PGA Tour and Live Golf to sit down and figure something out.
It's coming. I said this. I said it was coming, and now, because when you think about what Rory McIlroy has done, and what he said, he's been very outspoken. Boosting the PGA. Like, you guys are going over to Live Golf. We don't want you here. Going over there. If you don't want to be here, you don't come back. All this. But now he wants to sit down because he sees the talent and where they're going, and he's trying to hold up a dying thing. As you say, everything's dying. He's trying to hold up this dying thing. But it's good to have talked about it. It's good for it to be at the forefront because it's not doing anything but making golf more popular.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yes and no, but I think the PGA with their old business model, they're gonna take some hits unless they pivot.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna take a quick break. Coming up, we'll have our Hate or Love It segment. Kick it off with our stinkers of the week. This is the W Show. We'll be right back.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Come spin with us, Kansas City. KC We Spin 360 is the coolest 360 video spinner experience for events. KC We Spin 360 is taking it to the next level. The 360 video spinner platform rental will be the life of the party. Everyone will be talking about their 360 video experience while bragging about it on their social media pages. The captivating slow motion and reverse effects will have your guests feeling like celebrities. The KC We Spin 360 video spinner can capture slow-mo videos, GIFs, and boomerangs from every angle. Specializing in corporate events, weddings, social gatherings, bar bat mitzvahs, school events, and fundraisers, KC We Spin 360 can be found online at kcwespin360.com. Come spin with us, Kansas City.
Don't be depressed, frustrated, or stressed because of the loss of a loved one. Golden Gate Funeral and Cremation Services is here to assist you with a smooth, stress-free transition. It doesn't matter how your loved one transitioned, we will offer you a memorable celebration to your liking. We are a family-friendly, full-service funeral home right here in the heart of the city, offering affordable cremations and package pricing and quality service. Call us when you need us. 816-231-GATE. That's 816-231-4283. There's only one Golden Gate, located at 2800 East 18th Street, Kansas City, Missouri. Exchanging your grief for a golden experience.
Are you ready to take your gaming experience to the next level? Max Adrenaline Mobile Video Gaming is here to offer the best mobile entertainment that includes video games, laser tag, and karaoke. Our mobile video game theater offers a 33-foot climate-controlled luxury RV with 5 gaming stations, and we can accommodate up to 20 players at once. Are you looking for entertainment at your next event? Well, look no further. We'll come to you. Specializing in birthday parties for all ages, sports events, team building, corporate events, school functions, holiday parties, and more. We're here when you need us at 816-897-0509 or maxadrenalinekc.com.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Remember to interact with our show. Use hashtag talk about it. Message us, and we'll talk about whatever topic you want.
It's that time for Love It or Hate It.
Hate it.
If we love it, we talk about it. If we hate it, we move on.
Starting off the sneakers of the week, we got the Air Jordan 4 black canvas.
Classics.
Feeling them. I'm mad I didn't get these, but when I try, sometimes you know how you try to talk yourself out of stuff, and I try to talk myself out. Oh, well, I don't really want the canvas. This canvas, but I really wanted these.
Those are fire. The Nike Air Max 1 Tour Yellows, my favorites this week.
I like these.
Yeah, these are dope.
Tough. Nike Dunk Low quilted wheat.
These are fire. Yeah, just the design on these and the quality. I'm really feeling these. Even though these last 3 are women's kick sneakers, I would wear all these.
I would have liked these to be monotone. I don't like that white on there, but yeah.
All vibes for sure. The Air Jordan 1 mild black grapes.
These are dope. I really like these.
I do not.
Yeah, they're all right. It's too much. It's busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a woman's shoe.
I'll pass.
And there go with your shirt you got on.
True, but I'll pass. Now, John Morant says he will gift his Grizzlies teammates Rolex watches with new NBA contract. Hate it or love it.
I love that. I love it. We see quarterbacks do it all the time, like gifting their offensive linemen. We see running backs do it, gift their offensive linemen wide receivers, do the Christmas thing. It's dope to hear Ja Morant. He did get the bag, so it's only right he pays it forward.
Thanks.
You keeping Rolex or you selling if you lowest man on totem pole?
You got to keep that.
Keeping it.
Oh, okay.
He would be my favorite teammate.
I'm just saying, if you only getting 200 and he gets you a $30,000 Rolex,
gotta hold on to it.
I will hold on, until
gotta hold it.
YouTube stars Dude Perfect plan to build $100 million headquarters and entertainment destination. Hate it or love it.
I love it. Dude Perfect is I know these are one of the YouTube guys that my son watches. They do like all the trick shots and the everything like trick, throw the ball off of the top of the house, hit the other house, and has to go into the goal. Yeah, it's gonna be fire. Do they have $100 million to build this? I don't know, but I think they're going to get close to it.
World chess champion Magnus Carlsen is accusing a 19-year-old grandmaster of cheating. Hate it or love it.
This is beyond my realm of. I'm not a chess player, so it's beyond my realm of things. But how do you cheat in chess? Y'all play chess?
I have no idea.
No idea.
I wonder any of our listeners or viewers play chess? Like, hit us up. I want to know. Can you cheat in chess? Is that a thing?
Because you're staring at each other the whole time.
Yeah,
so how do you cheat? Like, you're both playing off the same board. I'm very confused.
Yeah.
Very confused.
Do you watch game film in chess?
Probably. Yeah, I would think that's a thing. Yeah.
Scouting report.
Yeah.
He tends to go left. LeBron James, Draymond Green, and Kevin Love, part of group buying a professional pickleball team.
I think we should get a pickleball team. Like, in all seriousness, I think we should. Like, it's a growing thing. We should really get look into getting a pickleball team.
I'm gonna pass on that.
Why? Like, pickleball is a growing, like, people play it as elderly. They play pickleball.
Yeah.
And it's like a big thing.
And that's probably where it stops. It's probably like a 55 and up sport.
No, it's not. I'm telling you, it's not. We don't play pickleball.
In gym class, it was lit.
Yeah,
but
see?
I don't know how serious I could really take it.
Okay. All right. I'm just saying.
I don't know if I would buy tickets to a pickleball.
All right. When y'all start seeing.
Broderick said, what's pickleball? It's like life-size ping pong, basically.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd invest in that, but more power to you, Steve. Maybe you're ahead of us.
All right. Okay. I offered.
In 5 years, nobody's playing pickleball.
Okay.
Paramount has been sending people to stand creepily behind home plate at MLB games to promote its new horror movie, Smile.
So
Paramount, holla at me. I will definitely do this, especially Mets, Yankees. You sitting behind home plate? Oh, yeah. Holla at me, Paramount. I'll do it. I'll sit there like.
Weird.
Yeah, those are real actors, Steve.
I can do that. You ain't got to talk.
No, Steve would break. Look, Steve would break character the first home run.
First Aaron Judge home run. He's going for 71. I'm like, oh. They see me like, aren't you supposed to be smiling, sir? Yeah.
Bag
Called
fumble.
out. Russell Wilson responds to Eli Manning's playful Manning cast diss. Hate it or love it.
I love it. I love this.
Let's hear the comment from Eli and then Russell Wilson's response.
That was a McAfee love fest as well. Yeah, it helps to get a safety. It helps when Jimmy Garoppolo imitated Dan Orlovsky and step out of the end zone. That helps. That's how you that's how you get 11, eh?
They should have paid that punter $235 million instead of Russell.
Pay that man his money.
Come on, Chad Powers. Yeah, Chad Powers. I'm 3-0 against Chad Powers. Listen, I think that it's part of the game, man. We're just got to have fun, and everything else. I have a lot of respect for Peyton and Eli and those guys. Those guys, I've always looked up to those guys, so I'm not stressed about it.
Yeah, that's what you don't when you don't have nothing else to say. I'm 3-0 against Chad Powers.
Yeah, because he
3-0.
He didn't say what he wanted to say, which is funny because my comeback would have been something like, hey, I went to Peyton's quarterback camp. I didn't go to that other guy's quarterback camp. Sorry, you weren't good enough.
Now, Ken Dorsey, Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator, loses it in coach's box after final play against Dolphins. Hate it or love it.
I love this. I love this. Let's see Ken Dorsey. This is so funny. Imagine what can y'all like, what is he saying?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah, I could imagine. Yeah, but that's so unprofessional. Look, if that was Eric Bieniemy, that's so unprofessional. He should be out of the league.
Man, yeah, we appreciate everyone who joined in on today's show. We appreciate all the comments today. We see you guys. Thank you for tuning in. If you're listening to us on 100.1 FM, remember you can like us on all of our platforms at the W Show KC. Until next week, we are out of here.
Peace.
Opinions expressed in the W Radio Show by the host, co-host, guests, and call-in listeners are solely the opinions and responsibility of the original source who expressed them. We do not represent the opinions of the W Show, 100.1 FM, One Kansas City Radio, Sideline Sports Talk, Team Wall Street Foundations, or affiliates.